It's like a 20-second delay on all right.
Yeah, I'm waiting to pick up.
All right, welcome. So we are live. So I'm Adam. This is Noah. We're going to be bringing you another Wellness Wednesday. Super excited about this one, guys. It's a topic that, all of the topics we've been talking about this is our fourth week of doing this. So last week we talked about stress and relaxation. So if you're joining us now and you watch that one, what are some of the things that you've been trying to implement? For me, specifically, having some quiet time at night before going to bed to help aid sleep and not on the device as much. And then we've also talked about sleep. We've talked about the pandemic and your health and how you can thrive during it. And this week is a great one. So if you are a member of the gym and you're watching, so our private Facebook group is off the charts with recipes, meal prep. Like, we got it down, right? We got it down. If you're not, we're talking about meal prep. We're talking about meal prep and how meal prep can really change everything, right? It can change everything. If you're struggling with nutrition, I guess the one thing that I would recommend is you have to meal prep in one way, shape, or form. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you have any questions or comments or anything, feel free to go ahead and go right in the comments below. We'll answer your questions. If you need anything, please let us know. But you ready to get started, Noah?
I'm ready.
All right. So I guess a question for you: when you are at your best, what's going well in your life? Like, when you are operating at your best, just what are some things that are usually on point for you to make that happen?
Well, I measure my how well I'm doing by my efficiency. I feel like being like well organized and things along those lines. Like, especially with school and all that, I don't got a lot of time to waste on other activities. So I know when I first started, I was in my undergrad. I had time to cook all the time and that sort of stuff. But now I'm like, I'm at Haas and I have a half an hour lunch break, and that's about it. And then I get home and study till about 7:00. And at that point, I don't want to cook. So tell you, I know this is the topic, getting toward the topic today. So being able to use my time elsewhere other than cooking multiple times a day is really, really helps me. I don't know about you, but that's a big thing.
Yes. Yeah, I think, when I'm operating my best, it's my nutrition is on point, right?
Yeah.
And I think when you're doing healthy things, so when you're exercising regularly, chances are you want to eat well, right? Because it all kind of flows into one. And if you're eating well, exercising regularly, it makes you just want to do healthy things elsewhere. You just kind of get in that cycle. It's a good cycle to be in. But a lot of times, we hear it all. We've been there. My nutrition really slacked there for, through the fall into the winter, until Christmas. I kind of, got loose a little bit. I got loose, and I really needed to shore things up. It's because I wasn't meal prepping as much, but also just having things in the house that I really shouldn't have. And, when you're hungry at night or tired, you're like, oh, well, I'll have one of those. But when you have one of them and you do it consistently, what happens? That compounds. And I guess that brings me to my next point. If you haven't read this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, or listened to it, this is our book of the month here at Adam Clark Fitness. Definitely read it. I've listened to it before, and I'm going back through and reading it, and it's awesome. And you can, when it comes to nutrition or anything, exercise or anything in your life, creating those healthy habits, it starts with one little thing and then building on it, right? But the same thing can happen with your negative habits. If, one time isn't going to hurt you, but if that one time becomes becomes 2 times, becomes 3 times, becomes 20 times, then you see those negative results. So let's get into it. So I got a few stats for you. Working out is awesome, right? Fitness is great. We need to move more. We need to work out regularly. at the end of a workout, you don't say, "Oh man, I really regret doing that workout." No one ever says that, right? Unless they're on the bike. But when it's over, it's over. The problem is exercise is not everything, right? Exercise is not everything. It's a piece of the equation, and nutrition is a huge piece. And here's in a workout, you can really burn anywhere from on the regular 200 to 600 calories. That's probably a good baseline somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But here are three things that maybe you don't know. A fast food burger. So these are just stats off the internet. Everything's true on the internet, right? A fast food burger. I'm assuming this has some of the toppings. Is about 300 calories. 300 calories. Just one fast food burger. Okay. And
that was a little bit lower than I was anticipating. I always thought that number was going to be way up.
Well, I think if you're talking Big Mac or Whopper,
well, that's kind of what I was thinking.
It's a lot more, right? So that's about 300 calories, and that's not very filling, right? A Chick-fil-A small milkshake, they are delicious, is over 500 calories. Just a small milkshake, over 500 calories.
Wow.
3 Samoa Girl Scout cookies, the caramel ones, the Samoas, they are that equals over 200 calories, right? Just 3 of those small ones. And then here I am drinking a Starbucks. Guys, I am breaking my rule a little bit. And Noah and I, we talked about this. I am having a little caffeine, but 7 hours from now, I'll finish this up by 2. I'll be to bed by 9. But this is not a Frappuccino, but a large Starbucks Frappuccino is over 500 calories, over 500 for a drink. And if you just stand outside of Starbucks and see what people are having for drinks, it's not a drink, it's a dessert. They're drinking dessert. This is just a coffee. This is a black coffee, so it's nothing, just caffeine. But guys, when you're doing that consistently, if you're just exercising and doing normal exercise, 200 to 600 calories, you basically, that one drink is at the high end of it. So you can't out exercise a bad diet. And that's it's just the truth. You can keep going and going and going, but it doesn't work that way. But some things that I want to touch on right now. Why do people fail to reach their weight loss goals or just overall health? And I'll chime in with a few, and then if you have a few, feel free to chime in as well. Number one is poor planning. We're going to talk about that more, but just poor planning, right? They're not planning well. If you're just going by the seat of your pants, then chances are you're going to fail. Another one, trying to change too much at once. And I referenced the Atomic Habits book earlier, but when we try to change too much at once, that can be very overwhelming when you're trying to change everything, right? Number 3, not consistent enough. By doing something for 2 weeks, that's just the start. You can't give up after 2 weeks because you haven't given it enough time. You have to keep doing it and be consistent, right? It's tough, but you have to keep going. And then this goes with the last one. Don't give it enough time. You just don't give it enough time, right? Things do not happen overnight. I mean, I feel like I'm basically just talking out of this book, right? This book is just speaking to that. We don't give it enough time. We're not consistent enough. We don't plan well. We try to change too much. Is there anything else that you can think of why people fail?
2 off the top of my head is not enough knowledge on this topic. I mean, that's why I guess you guys are here and listen to this. Hopefully you pick up a little piece here and there. But I know a lot of people, especially if you're just starting the journey, you don't know the best way to do it. And there's no really right and wrong way. There's definitely a better way and not as good way. But you probably don't know that your first attempt, and then you try it your first attempt and you get discouraged and because it didn't go as you planned. And that might be just because you didn't have enough knowledge. And the second thing going with that is actually right out of the chapter I read this morning, Atomic Habits. It's obviously you want this change for a betterment. It's your end goal. But sometimes what research is showing, this also I've learned in some of my psychology classes, is not only doing a change for your end goal, it's like an external factor you're working towards. You need to work towards internal factors, and that's you need to change on the inside. So instead of saying, oh, I've tried meal planning or I'm going to meal plan, say, or like, you are a meal planner. You say it. You say you are the verb of whatever you want to do it. You got to say you are it. Not that you're going to do it. You need to make it part of you. That's your internal motivation. If you care for something, you're going to do it so much better.
It's your identity.
Yeah.
Identify. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's a couple reasons if so sometimes external goals are not always the best way.
Right.
If you but yeah.
Yep.
So those are two things. So when you're saying those, top of my head real quick, I'm sure we'll address them a little bit as we go. But
oh yeah, no doubt. No, those are good. Those are good ones. New Year's resolutions. So a couple stats on those New Year's resolutions. I know at the beginning of the year we set goals. I'm a big fan of setting goals. I think it kind of gives you a roadmap. At least gives you a target to hit. Some New Year's resolutions aren't great. Like if they don't really mean much to you, then you're probably not going to achieve them, but at least gives you a roadmap. But 8% of people reach their New Year's resolutions. So 92% of people fail to reach their New Year's resolutions. And by February, so it's already March, those 80% of people have already failed. They've given up by the end of February. So there's only 20% remaining. So those are some pretty crazy stats. And then, I love this quote. I think it's awesome. I think this guy knows a thing or two, or knew a thing or two. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Benjamin Franklin. So think about that. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. If you just leave it up to fate, or if you just leave it up to, well, I hope it happens, probably isn't going to happen, right? You have to do something about it. You have to plan, you have to take action. So just remember that. Let's get into the nutrition piece more. Meal prep is everything. And I'm going to give you a few reasons why. Once again, Noah, if we got some comments coming in too. Let's address those
real quick.
Surrounding yourself with other people who have common goals, Kim, is always helpful. No doubt. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think when we're trying to accomplish a goal and trying to do everything ourselves, right? You have to do a majority of it, but surround yourself with support. That is huge. That's huge, because you have that support system, bounce ideas off of, to motivate you, to push you. And it's a motivating factor when you see other people giving it their all. So that's a good comment, Kim. But let's get to the meal prep side of things. Why is meal prep everything? Well, put yourself in the shoes, and for those watching or those watching later, you can definitely relate to this. Everyone can. At the end of a stressful day, the last thing you want to do is cook, right? I don't know about you, but like for us, we get home late because we train late. But even after a long day of work, if you get home 5:30, 6 o'clock, and you're tired, you're feeling stressed, last thing you probably want to do is cook. You just don't have the energy for it. And what you do want is you want comfort food, the easy comfort food, which is usually the unhealthy stuff, right? Let's say, for instance, your kid, I know, kids are involved in a lot of activities. Your kid has a soccer game. It's just easier to go through the drive-through after, right? You're getting home late. You don't have anything prepped. It's just easier to go through the drive-through. Your kid, of course, they want fast food. Why not? Every kid wants fast food. Yeah, and some adults. And then the last thing, I was talking about this with a client this morning. We're a convenience society. I'm guilty of it. You're guilty of it. We all are. It's just kind of how technology's made us. We're sort of headed that way, where unhealthy options are just available everywhere, right? I'm going to get up on my pedestal a little bit right now. If we focus more on being proactive and, wear these, physically distance, but also eat healthy and exercise. I never heard that. I didn't hear that when they were telling people to stay away from others or wear a mask. Why wasn't that included? We'd be in a better position because we'd be healthier people. So We're a convenience society. Unhealthy options are available everywhere. I feel like Amazon's kind of made us that way too. We want it now, right? And now you have Uber Eats and those, and then you have the drive-throughs. Everything's just simple, but it seems like healthier options aren't there. Healthier options aren't as convenient because it takes a little bit more time, or people just want that quick sugar fix. So that's why meal prep is everything, because those three things right there that I talked about, you're stressed at the end of the day, you don't want to cook. Your kid has a soccer game, it's easier to go through the drive-through, and convenience, healthy options aren't as available. Anything else you could think of right there? I mean, I think those are just a few situations that we can all relate to.
Mm-hmm.
That
this might be, I don't know if this is something you'll get to at some point, but going off the meal prep thing, one comment is surrounding yourself with the right foods. I think it's a big thing, because say that drive, on the drive home, there's a McDonald's on the way, and it's easy to stop in because it's right on the way there, and if you so I, for example, I worked at a restaurant for quite a while, and I remember I would have even sometimes I had meal prepped, and I would be like just seeing the food all day, I'm just like, all right, I'll just save my meal. I prepped it. I'll just put it back in the fridge. I'll have it another day. I'm just gonna eat something right in front of me. I've been craving that all day. I mean, that's the same thing at your house. I mean, if you still have, maybe you meal prep perfectly, but you still have some of those foods laying around the house that are a little tempting. That's, you can get a little dangerous there. It can go. I know it's happened to me. I'll have like especially around the holidays, I'll have some family like kind of give me some goods and stuff like that, and I'll be like, well, I feel bad, but it's like not wanting them, but so I leave them around, and they get a little dangerous. So that's kind of along with meal prep. But I mean, treating yourself isn't bad once in a while, but as you mentioned in the beginning, doing it every single day, it's a different story here.
Yep. No, that's you're so right there. That's very true. So let's moving on. If you're eating healthy, what are some of the positive side effects? For me, number one, your weight's in check, right? If you're eating healthy, your weight's in check. Number two, you're feeling energized, right? You're feeling energized because you're eating the right foods. Think of if we can sort of think like this, think of your body like a vehicle. If you treat your vehicle well, you're getting regular oil changes, you're putting in, premium fuel, it's going to run longer, right? You're not going to have as many problems. Same thing as a human. If you're doing your regular maintenance, if you're doing the right things for your body, if you're providing yourself with premium fuel, the right foods, then you're going to run longer. You're going to feel better. And you're not going to have those issues. So kind of, if you think of it in terms of that, it's great.
Sorry to interrupt. On the offset of that, I know some people who change their nutrition around, and not only they feel a lot better during the day, but they sleep a whole lot better at night. That's going back to our first topic. I'm a big sleep person, so I mean, that's going back to that thing, feeling yourself right, energized, but also, I mean, you're getting the better sleep and all those other things. Just quick thing that in there, you keep going.
Yeah. No, that's so true. And then I guess another positive side effect of eating well, you just feel good, right? You just feel good. You don't feel bloated. You don't feel gross. You just feel better about yourself. And then everything is operating at a higher level, right? When you're eating well, you're able to, you are sleeping better. You are feeling better. If things fit better, your mind is clearer. Just everything operates at a higher level. So let's get into the meal prep to-dos. So I got a list of meal prep to-dos. If you have any comments, any questions, anything, and you have some of your own, definitely go ahead and chime in the comments. Also, guys, if you could share this, we'd love it if you could share it. Share this on your page. I'm actually going to go ahead and share it right now. So you share it on your Facebook page so more people can see this. We'd appreciate that because I know this topic is super important. So let's get into the meal prep to-dos. So I got 5 of them for you. If you have any, feel free to chime in. Noah, feel free to interject too. Number one is make a plan. Make a plan. So with anything we talked earlier, if you're not making a plan, then I guess you're just leaving it up to chance. When you leave it up to chance, not much good happens, right? You're probably not going to reach your goal. So make a plan. That's as simple as just writing it down on a piece of paper. What are we going to eat this week? Right? Just kind of have a basic framework. You don't have to do every little thing, but just have a basic framework, and that will help you, and it won't feel as overwhelming. Or a whiteboard, right? A whiteboard in the kitchen. I know, especially if you have kids, you can kind of see and check the meals and yeah. Number two, shop for your food, right? Shop for your food. So, you need to know what you're putting in your body, right? A lot of times when we go to restaurants, we don't know exactly what it's cooked in. We don't know exactly the ingredients they're using. But when you shop for your own food, you know what you're getting, right? You know what you're getting. You're the one buying it. You're the one putting it in the cart. You're the one cooking it. So that's a big one. Number three, plan out time on a weekend to meal prep. I know I've been doing a lot of that lately, and it's really set me up for success during the week. I'm not saying you have to do the whole week. You don't have to do the whole week, but that's a big one. Meal prep. Just take a couple hours. You can bulk cook. So bulk cook some meat, some veggies, or some staples like sweet potato or rice. Just have that stuff available. If you want to put some salads together, you don't have to put the dressing and everything on, but just kind of have those available. Maybe your breakfast, maybe some fruit cups, stuff like that. Do as much as you can in advance. So during the week, you don't have to, you're not trying to do a million things, right? I will also say, the meal kit delivery service. So I'll get into this in a little bit. Here's a stat for you. By 2027, the meal kit delivery service market could reach nearly $20 billion. So that's a compound annual growth rate of almost 13%. So each year, 13% growth.
Was this a specific company, or was this just the market?
Yeah, so this was according to a new report from Grandview Research, so a research company. So by 2027,
the whole meal kit delivery market, not just
the whole. Yep. Yeah, not just one company, but it's huge. It's huge now. So, and we'll get into that a little bit and give you some ideas. But meal kit delivery service, it's booming. It's booming. Number four, guys, meal prep to do is portion control. Portion control. We can prep everything really well, but if you're overeating, then that's not good. You can overeat healthy stuff. Right. So just make sure you portion control. I'm not saying you have to measure things down to the ounce and things, but have a basic framework of what a teaspoon is, what a tablespoon is, what a scoop is, what a normal serving size is. And if you need help, I can send you a good graphic by Precision Nutrition. They put out a lot of good nutrition stuff, and they can they break it down for you. But portion control and meal prepping kind of does that. So if you put them in your Tupperwares, right, you can easily portion it out, and it's right there. And then number five, you need to do it consistently. I don't believe in diets. I know you don't either. Diets don't work because diets are a short-term fix. They're a short-term fix. It's not teaching you the healthy habits. It's teaching you how to live, kind of live in a not sustainable world for a short period of time for a short-term result. It's not really teaching you anything, right? So you need to do it consistently. You need to meal prep consistently, because if you just do it for 2 weeks and like, well, this is old. Yeah. Well, you're not going to accomplish anything. That's with anything. Mm-hmm. So do it consistently. Those are my five. We'll get more into a couple other things. But are there any comments, questions, anything coming in that you can see?
I got a question. I was seeing in the chat. Yeah. I got a question for you. Sure. You might get to this in a minute, but I know a common reason I hear, and you probably get to this in a minute, is time. Planning, because if you don't have a plan, you're not planning to you're gonna fail. But sometimes it takes some time to plan in the day. Do you have any resources or any tips or anything like that to make that time a little less? So you're not spending an hour, 2 hours, just like, what meal am I going to eat this week? Like I know I've been in that boat when I was first starting. I was like, I don't know what I want this week. And so I look online for like an hour. I'd look at this recipe and then I'd that, look at this one. And it would take a little bit of time. But now I know I have it down kind of to a science and I get it done a little quicker. But do you got any advice or any tips or anything for people there that could speed it up a little bit?
Yeah, so the internet, it has a lot of great resources, but it can be very overwhelming, right? Like all these recipes, all this stuff. Try not to be overwhelmed because there are going to be a lot of resources. I've been using an app called Fit Men Cook. The guy, he has an excellent Instagram and Facebook page. He's got a cookbook and he's got an app. And basically what I do, I go into the app, I look at the recipes, I click it, I add it to my shopping cart, how many servings, then it'll tell me exactly, it'll put it on my grocery list. So I know exactly what I need. It's like a $2.99 app. That's a great one. I know there's a lot of other stuff out there, but I would just, you need to try different things. I know it can be overwhelming, but just do one thing. Just try one thing. And if you feel like, hey, I kind of like this, then roll with it. So just
find something that works for you.
Try and maybe it won't the first time.
Yeah.
And then guess what? There's other resources out there, but there's a lot of cookbooks out there. There's a lot of different stuff. Just try one thing. Just try it. And then I think we got a couple comments coming in. So Danielle, I measured everything to start. Now I can tell, but definitely helpful to measure at first. I was definitely overeating a lot. Absolutely. That is a great point. So maybe for the first, I'm not a huge fan of tracking long-term, but tracking and measuring at first to become aware, to become more aware. Oh, I'm actually eating this many calories, or, oh, I'm actually eating 2 serving sizes when I thought I was eating 1. It's good at first, right? Long-term, not a huge fan. If it works for you, great, but it can be kind of overwhelming, kind of taxing. But at first, just to become more aware of what you're eating and what an actual serving size is, 100%. So I guess the next thing for me, what I want to talk about are excuses. And I got a few, and yeah, you could probably think of a few, but the first one, you talked about it. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. So when you say you don't have enough time, you do. And here's why. You have enough time because you just need to prioritize. You're essentially saying nutrition doesn't matter and you're prioritizing other things. So if you're okay with that, then great. That's fine. Nutrition doesn't matter to you. And surfing on Facebook or Instagram for hours does, because we all do it, right? So
back to the identity at the beginning, you make it part of your identity, and then you prioritize it. It's going to be a priority if you make it a priority, if it's part of your identity and your values.
Right. Absolutely. So no, that's a good point. It's about just making it a priority. You do have time. You do not need 5 hours each Sunday. Does it help to have that time? Yeah, but it's better to be proactive now than reactive in the future. Be proactive, because you're either going to pay for it now or you're going to pay for it later when you're not the healthiest, 10, 15 years down the road. You're dealing with health issues, dealing with medical bills, right? It's time to flip that switch, guys, into more of a into being more proactive. I don't have enough time. Well, meal prep service, right? I talked a little bit about it. The market could be nearly $20 billion by 2027. Few of the big players. You got HelloFresh, Blue Apron. They'll send you the exact ingredients. You do have to cook it, but that kind of gets rid of the grocery shopping part, or knowing what to or how much to get. There's also some local services everywhere, whether you're in Bangor, wherever you're watching, there are local services where you can buy pre-cooked meals that you just need to warm up. Restaurants and other places do that. So there are options. You do have time, make it, and make it a priority, make it become part of your identity. Number two, I hear this a lot. It costs too much. It costs too much. And it kind of comes back to, yes, being healthy does cost money. It costs money up front, right? It costs money up front, but it's about flipping that switch, making it part of your identity, and shifting toward being more proactive, because you're either going to pay for it now way less and feel a lot better, or you're going to pay for it in the long run, right? You're going to pay for it in the long run with medical bills. And yeah, go for it, Noah.
Yep. Well, I was going to say, I meal prep pretty much every week if I'm on top of my stuff, and I'm a broke college student. So, I mean, I make it work for in between $40 and $50 a week. And I mean, I don't have the most fancy foods and that sort of stuff, but I mean, I enjoy it and I make it work. You just gotta get creative. I think that's a big thing there, is with it, especially if it can cost you a lot if you're getting if you're buying stuff, especially like you said up front. Sometimes you need to buy this random oil that you'll use or whatever, and like, as long as you make sure you're going to be using that oil quite a few times down the road, it may be your first time, it's going to cost you a little bit extra. But I mean, I'm a college student. I do it on a budget each week. So I mean, yeah. Anyway,
so here's a couple other things. So you're a college student. So if you don't have that much money, that's okay. You can buy stuff in bulk, right? More stuff in bulk, obviously, like meats and stuff like that. How about couponing, things like that? Coupons, like, there's a lot out there that you can get. You just have to put time in and do it. So if you're short on money, you have to be resourceful. And once again, it's back to making that a priority and making it part of your identity. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to eat healthy things. I'm going to make it work. Okay. Find the deals, look through the flyers, look through the coupons. There's a lot of apps out there, not just like the Hannaford app, but there's like couponing apps where you can get stuff. I know some people who get stuff for basically free, right? Because they're really good at couponing. So you can find a way, and being proactive is going to cost you a lot less. Go for it.
If you want to do it, start saying I am healthy. Not saying I'm going to be healthy. Start saying I am healthy. Change that mindset. Let's change that identity. Sorry.
I am healthy. It's part of my identity. Next one excuse that I hear: I don't know how to cook. Okay. I don't know how to cook. Learn. You do not have to be a 5-star chef, right? You don't have to be a 5-star chef. No one's expecting you to do that. And your first try and your second try, your third try, stuff probably isn't going to come out great. But if I can cook and make simple things and follow certain recipes, then you can too. You just have to give it time. It's about making it part of your identity and, just working at it, right? You don't just walk into a gym and expect to be able to lift, like you're a seasoned veteran in here, right? Lifting all the time. It takes time. You have to practice it. You have to keep doing it. Then you'll get better. So I hear that you can cook. If not, get a meal prep service, right? Pretty simple, right? They'll either do the pre-cooked stuff, or, we can follow HelloFresh. They send you the exact ingredients and tell you exactly what to do, right? So just follow directions. So that's a big one. And then another one I hear a lot: I get sick of eating the same thing, right? I get sick of eating the same thing. Well, try something different. You don't have to eat the same thing. Try something different. And I know this can be tough with kids or spouses where, if they like different things, it makes it a little more challenging, but try something different. Another thing that we saw on our Facebook group, a couple of ladies, they, great idea. They meal prep with a friend and then exchange food. So like they make the food, then they exchange it, or you have like a Zoom cooking date or together, whatever it may be. Be creative, find a way to do it. There is a way. So if you get sick of eating the same thing, change it up. You do not have to eat the same thing over and over again. Maybe it's something as simple as changing the spice that you use, or changing the carb that you're, instead of rice, have sweet potato, just things like that. Change the fruit that you normally have. Just do it, right? Do it. There's no one holding you back from that. But those are some of the excuses that I hear, and those are some rebuttals I have why you can do it. Are there any excuses that you can think of that you can think of?
I think you hit them all on the head. The big ones, I think, is knowledge. Like I said, I don't know how to cook, or I don't know what to cook.
Yep.
I mean, both between the question I asked earlier, finding those resources. Between Pinterest and Fitmen Cook, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Fitmen Cook. Yeah,
finding those resources. If you don't know, look for them. There's tons out there, and so yeah, those are the things I see all the time. Is I don't know how to do it. You can even ask us. We got tons of resources and stuff. Reach out to us, and we can answer those questions for you. Look up online and all that stuff, and then the time's the other one. But you make it a priority, make it your identity, and you solve that problem. But what were you gonna say?
So we got a couple comments. So Stephanie commented, when planning our weekly menu, I always look at what's on sale and plan some meals around that. Absolutely. That's perfect. Yeah. So just look ahead, plan the menu, look what's on sale. You save money right there. Norma has a good one. Ibotta. That's a coupon app. So you can save money there, or maybe it's like cash back type of thing. And then it says, excuse number one for me, I don't feel like cooking, or I don't feel like eating that today. My tastes and cravings change within a matter of a couple hours, so it's hard to plan ahead. So I think a friend told me this, and it really resonated. We always want stuff to taste good, right? But we also need to sort of shift our thinking, like food is fuel, and think of it in terms of food is fuel. So it doesn't always have to taste good, right? We're fueling our body. Sometimes you just have to, kind of suck it up, right? And just eat it. Even if you're not necessarily feeling it, but not everything's going to taste 100% like what you're craving. But think of food as fuel. That's what's fueling your body, and you need it. So just sometimes you just have to think of it that way. And even if you're not feeling it, you just got to eat it, right? I know that's sometimes hard to do, but not everything's going to taste, great all the time. I can tell you that some of my cooking, I just, kind of scarf it down. Sarah, I don't think eats it, but she'll tell me when it doesn't taste good. I'm like, okay, well, you can cook. No, just kidding. So no other excuses you can think of? I think pretty much hit the nail on the head. Yeah. I guess the final thing, which I want to touch on, everything comes down to habits, right? Everything comes down to habits and just doing the little things. Creating those healthy habits, you just have to give it time. You have to start with one thing. Maybe that one thing is including a vegetable in every meal that you have. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe your one thing is I'm going to carve out 2 hours on Sunday. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe your thing is just creating a menu for just Monday and Tuesday, little things like that. And then if you do that consistently over time, you're going to get in the habit. Start with something. That's another tip. Just start. Just do it. Take action. What's the worst that happens? It doesn't work, right? It's better than just waiting. There's never a perfect time. Try something new. Maybe it's a meal prep service. Maybe it's a new recipe. Maybe you want to try out that Instapot that's been collecting dust, or that air fryer that's collecting dust, or in the cupboard. So just try it out. Do it. And then the last one, there's so many resources out there. If you need help, we'd be happy to send you some resources. But if you have resources that you use, maybe it's a website, maybe it's an app, maybe it's something, go ahead and put in the comments. We'd love to hear too. There's a lot of resources out there, and just do it. Nutrition is a huge piece. It's time to just do it, man. You just got to do it. Got to meal prep. Got to take time. Make it a priority. Make it part of your identity. Yeah.
I gotta head to class here, so I'm gonna.
All right, man. Well, that pretty much wraps it up.
Wrap everything up here.
There we go.
Sweet.
All right, man. Well, if anyone, you can jump off if you'd like, and then if anyone's got any comments or questions, I can answer them. But it looks like they haven't come in. So if you need any help, guys, feel free to reach out, and we'll see you next Wednesday. All right.
All right. See you guys.
Bye, guys.